Hi, this is the Sales and NLP Masterclass. I'm Dave Crane, joined by Darish Sudi, and we've been through a number of different areas of sales. I specifically want to talk now about how do you get a stadium pitch, and what is a stadium pitch, and how do you use that to wow prospects every time?
Okay. This is really, when we do our workshops and our classes, this blows people away. Let's say I go to a company who's had a product or service for 10 years, or 5 years, or 3 years, and through this process, this period, they've hired. Often entrepreneurs start working themselves, and they start recruiting salespeople. What I say to them is, we know time is precious. What if I could save that 10 years of your life and telephoned every single person that you met and said to them, look, I've just hired Wembley Stadium, okay, and I want to give you some free popcorn and chips and Nando's, nachos and whatever, and drinks. Come be my guest and listen to Dave Crane pitch his business. Okay, so if I could take this 7 years or 10 years, often clients say, oh, I've seen the last 7-10 years, 10,000 people. Okay, they've spent salary, fuel, time, energy, emotions over a 10-year period to see 10,000 people, and only probably 500 people bought from them. So 9,500 people didn't buy for whatever reason. Could be their fault, the product wasn't good, the salespeople wasn't trained. So what I say is, cut that pain out. We invite them all for a 20-minute pitch of every single member of staff in your organization. So we get them to imagine 10,000 people in Wembley Stadium, all eating chips and pies and everything else, waiting for this wonderful presentation. And I ask them an honest question, that the only catch is that the crowd have been told that at any time, they're giving you a time, which they have over the last 10 years, to sit down and listen to your pitch, that any time you say something that is not of interest to them, they can get up and walk out. Okay? Go out there and pitch them. I ask them an honest question, after 20 minutes, how many people out of 10,000 will be sitting there going, after 20 minutes, wow, I really want to do business with that guy? Do you know what they say? 50, 100. So what I say to them is, what's happening to your emotion? When you go, hi, 20 people walk out. The way you walk in and you straighten your jacket, 100 people get up and walk out. What's happening to your emotion? That's happened to you in 10 years. So wouldn't it be really good that you could actually wow them in that 20 minutes? And that's our 10,000, 9,500 are sitting there going, wow, that's really amazing. He knows his stuff. He's educated me, and I want to sit there and do business with him. That's called a stadium pitch. So we save people 10 years of their lives, the cost, recruitment, financial stresses, pain, okay, and bring it all into imaginary 20 minutes. So what we do is with our clients, we prepare a stadium pitch that we perfected. So when you sit down in front of me, I'll educate you about my marketplace through independent research. I wow you for a 20-minute period, but guiding you through using NLP to get to where you're going to say to me, I want to do business with you, without ever selling you anything.
So what's the anatomy of a stadium pitch then?
Stadium pitch, obviously greeting is really important the right way, the right habits are right, and then doing a lot of market research behind the scenes to find out. For instance, I'll give you an example. I had a logistics company who dealt with us. And out of 100 people they saw, only 3% bought. So they've actually 100 people, 100 quotations, only 3 out of 100 will buy. So when I asked my client, what's your unique selling point, he didn't know. He said price. So I don't agree. He goes, well, yeah, because these guys who we go and see, they see 100 people and they just go for the price. I said, well, that's what you're thinking, so that's what you're going to get. So what if we did some research behind the logistics market, independent research, and we wowed the client with information they didn't know. So I did some research just to show we could find something in logistics, and then we found out that 20-foot containers, okay, steel containers, 10,000 of them are lost off ships every year. Independently researched, and we put the source of research down. 10,000 20-foot containers lost in the seas. Out of that, over 95% of these containers float. No matter what's inside them, they float. So they become shipwrecks. They hit ships. So what they've done is they've actually placed GPS systems on these 20-foot containers to monitor the movements of these containers throughout the oceans. And then oceaneers, or I think that's what they're called, they actually researched and they found out we could use these containers to find out the movements of oceans in the seas. So I said, why don't we put that down at the bottom of each quote that you send out? They doubled their sales. Because one, their quotes stood out from everybody else's. Two, they actually educated people that they've done some research in their field. They're not just any old logistics company who's going to take the television from here to the UK or from the UK to America. They're actually experts in the fields. So what I say is when we go and see somebody, when we get our stadium pitch right, that if it was repeated in front of 10,000 people because we rehearsed it, every single time it wows the client. And they go, wow, subconsciously these guys know their stuff. They're experts in the fields, even be it logistics. Still, by the way, 94% of people said no, but double the people said yes. So they 100% proved the sales.
So with a stadium pitch, you really need to find the wow elements in the industry that they might not know, the things that you want to get across to them that they wouldn't be aware of because nobody else talks about it, that would make them be hooked on you delivering.
Correct. Also, you might want them to think they're interested, but they probably won't be. So what you have to think is, the stuff I'm going to tell Dave today in my stadium pitch, will he remember some of it and tell his wife this afternoon or in the party tomorrow evening? If the answer is yes, tell it. Okay? If the answer is no, because nobody in the party will be interested, don't tell him that. Don't put that in your stadium pitch. It's going to be something interesting, something wow, something they'll remember you buy. Because 6 months down the line, when they're going to make that decision, who are they going to remember? The person who took the time to educate them.
So make it 20 minutes of great material for your stadium pitch.
Correct. Independently researched. Not researched by yourself, independently researched. Because if it's researched by you, they believe that you're telling them what you want to tell them. So they buy your product. So don't insult their intelligence. Do it independently so they can't question it.
So again, with a stadium pitch, you've researched it, you've got the right kind of material. Are you doing it in front of one client, or are you doing it in front of a number of clients?
We call it a stadium pitch, but that could be in front of a classroom, a workshop, in an event, or it could be on a one-to-one basis. It doesn't matter, your pitch is the same. You keep practicing it until it becomes permanent.
Okay, and at the end of it, do you go into a sales routine, or is it already inbuilt because people have bought you first and then they want to do business with you as a result?
The stadium pitch overcomes people's rejections and objections, beg your pardon, or their preconceived reasons why they shouldn't buy from you. So if your stadium pitch is right, you've actually knocked those bricks that are protecting them from taking the action and wanting to buy your products. When the trust is there, they're in the marketplace, they have the budget, they're going to say, yes, let's talk business. Because when a business is done, it's not about closing, opening, it's not about, it's about relationship building and trust. If you trust me and you're in the market to buy a product, my product, let's just do some business. Let's form this relationship. Don't be frightened. And if you don't believe in your product, asking for the money is a big issue. But if you truly believe in the value you're providing, what you're getting paid is only what you're worth.
So you should effectively, at the end of a good stadium pitch, just be able to turn around and say, right, so how do you want to pay? Exactly. And literally they'll be spurred to buy because they've already gone through objections in their mind through the 20-minute process.
Correct. What's the next, step to making that decision? When should we start? Doesn't always have to be about money. When should we start? Okay. Should we get your diary and book the appointment? Okay. When do you want it delivered? How many do you want?
And so when somebody's researching a stadium pitch on their own, what should they avoid putting into it then?
They avoid direct selling of their products. If you're selling photocopiers and yours happens to be Canon, don't keep selling Canon because that's insulting the listener's intelligence. Just look at photocopiers in general, okay? And make it somewhere along the way indirectly leading to your color copiers rather than just saying buy my Canon copiers because they're better than that. It's too direct.
So you're looking at a helicopter view of the industry where it's leading towards you.
Correct.
Because when you go about all the factors, you know what, the best of all of it is it needs to have these things, that's why our product has these things.
Absolutely. For instance, if I'm doing a pitch to color copier salespeople, okay, and I've done my research and I've found out that, for instance, the legal industry uses 5 times more photocopying services than anybody else. And if I'm trying to educate you, and you my market, that'll be quite interesting, won't it? You think, okay, in my next advertising, I'm going to pitch it to the legal services because they use more photocopying services than anybody else does. So I'll go home and use what you taught me to benefit me in life and in my business. And I'll remember you for educating me because I didn't have to spend 6 years or 6 months or 6 hours researching it myself.
Excellent.